Hello everyone, this is Vincent and this recording is for BSB 131 Applied Business Analytics at QUT. In this video clip, I would like to show you all the updates that has been done to the dashboard version 2. So I will show you how I am going through those updates and do it in Excel so that you can do the same thing for your Excel workbook as part of your submission for the problem solving task 4. Now to start with, this is the version, the old version, the existing version, because dashboard version 2. What I will do, I will change the name into version 2.2. Now, the first things that I notice is that this section, return and risk analysis, so we use this section to answer some questions, as part of problem solving task 4. And what I would like to use is actually one of the metrics that we talk in a lecture, coefficient of variation. Unfortunately, the existing version of the dashboard doesn't have that. So we're going to create one more column. We call that column coefficient of variation. So to do so, I just add one more column next to it. I call it coefficient and as definition, the coefficient of variation is a ratio of standard deviation over the average. So I formulate that. And then hit OK. If you look at when you select that cell and a little corner here, you can double click. It will copy the whole for the whole range of values there. So that's done for the coefficient of variation. I going down to here and I notice that I have created a column, extra column here, so it doesn't look very nice for this table. So I'm going to do, I'll be copy the entire part of this. I move next to medium prices, right? And I also can create a coefficient variation, and that the same formula, that will be the standard deviation over the average. And then you can just copy all of that. If you would like to do some formatting, because as you mentioned here, there are many decimal points. The rest of the tables, they have 2 decimal points in their formatting. So to do so, what I'm going to do, I'm select that section of the data, and then I'll go to the section top here, and then I'll just reduce the number of decimal points. So if you would like to use 4, and the reason for that, because the numbers are quite small, so they can use 4. Right, so that's the second part we need to update. Now, if you go back to return and risk analysis, and below the table we have 2 pivot charts here. I noticed that in the list I've got BTC AUD, that's for Bitcoin, but in the diagrams I don't have BTC. So I suspected the original data that I used to build this chart doesn't include BTC data. So to check that, I'll go back to yearly return, right? And my suspicion is correct because in the data here I don't see BTC. So to include BTC back into data, what I'm going to do, you see a little angle, a little filter up there. I click on that and it brings up all the values, and I just select BTC to include that into the data, and then I hit OK. Alright, now once BTC has been included in here, unfortunately the manually created data section for the two charts are not updated accordingly. So what I have to do, I have to create another row of BTC into these two tables. To do so, I just move down this section of the data. I create a new row for that, BTC AU. Coefficient of variation will be a ratio of standard deviation over average return. Same thing for the label in this one, and the average return simply equal to the average return in the original pivot table data. Right, so that I have updated the two tables here, and the reason I did so because the two charts, they are built from these two corresponding tables. Now once you've added BTC, then you can see that the BTC data has been included in the chart. In the same for coefficient of variation, we can go back to the dashboard and check whether BTC has been included, and as we suspected, BTC are now into charts of the section of the dashboard. All right. Now for your problem solving task 4, as we mentioned many times in other form of communication, you need to use 2 additional stocks that you would like to recommend the client to consider in the new investment plan. So your data across another section, including overtime return, yearly returns, on stock, have to be updated with those additional stocks. That's all for this recording. See you in the next one.